Before, we were always hunting for the next Pepe, the next Dogecoin. That's where we got Whiff and Popcat. And then when Whiff and Popcat kind of led the charge, we were then looking for the next Whiff, the next Popcat. And that's where we got like Michi and your selfie dog. And now here for Memes 2.0, we have Farcoin and RFC. Those are the two biggest memes in the space currently.
I think we're definitely, coming out of that bottom. Volume is starting to come back in. If Trump can just shut up for the 90 days as much as possible, I think we see a lot of green days, which then definitely correlates back into memes.
What's up, Nigma? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? I heard China's waking up, so I needed to come up and speak. What's going on, boys? How you going?
Tell me your take on the overall market for one, and two, where we're going from here with memes. Before we dive in, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Solpot for sponsoring today's video. They're the biggest Solana casino with jackpot, coin flip, and a free Solana case you can open daily with no wager required. You can coin flip your soul against other players while scaling their $250,000 monthly wager leaderboard. The higher you rank, the more you get paid out. You can use my code FOMO to support the channel and open your free Solana case daily. The link is in the description below. Good luck. Now let's get back to the video.
Look, personally, I think I love seeing it. It's definitely been up and down. I will say that, there are some days that, the trenches are cooking, but I think generally overall what I'm seeing is, and I think you can look at Pump Farm's metrics in particular, if you can access June Analytics and have a look at some of the stuff there. I think we're definitely, coming out of that bottom. And so volume is starting to come back in. And I think, to be perfectly honest, I think if Trump can just shut up for the 90 days as much as possible, I think we see a lot of green day, which then definitely correlates back into memes. And starting to see that quite a lot with, just some fresh launches around some AI stuff that we're seeing. Dark in particular has been one that just has continued to kind of, pull numbers. And I think generally what we're starting to see is some community-based, a lot of kind of mindshare coins forming, which is fucking what we're really wanting to see. We're wanting to see some of these longer term prospects for people to want to actually rally behind. And in the midst of that, you're still getting a lot of pump and dump stuff. And so I just posted actually a video in Mind Games before talking about exactly that, just looking at, finding those community-based, mindshare focused runners that can have the capacity to be sustained for longer than a day. And I'm starting to see personally some more of that. I think you boys probably would agree. We're definitely on an uptick. Now it's just whether we continue building that floor and that base with volume on Sol. And I think if Sol continues to pull some numbers, I think we'll start to see that liquidity flow even more readily into memes.
No, yeah, dude. You said it perfectly. I agree with everything you've said. What communities in particular have you seen that are just like crushing it on the timeline as of recent?
What I've been looking at, I think definitely like coins like Chicken Jockey. I think that's forming, a pretty decent community. Seeing a couple of people that are, still bull posting that. Obviously, Titcoin's another one. You've got crew like Sling. Obviously, Gake is one that, still, mad shilling it. And I think Bitcoin in particular has hit a bottom just recently and finding a really good floor. So I'm keeping that one in sights. I think Aura Farm is another community that's forming, and you can see Aura Farm's just gradually just still grinding. It's these slow cooks, right? It's these things that are building over time with, holders gradually coming in and holding coins. So you're moving from traders to actual holders, and that's where conviction comes in. And I think, those holder metrics that were so, popular and I used a lot over a year ago are starting to come back into play. I think Figure is another one. I agree with you 100%. RFC, definitely a Cabal coin. And when I was looking at that coin at around 7 million, and I watched Frank's wallet, $80,000, literally ran his 1,000 Sol. He had 800 Sol completely down to almost nothing, aping into that coin. I remember thinking, why is he buying all this? And I didn't buy. And now obviously we can see why, but the LAVC is still active, still there, even though we might not see him on the timeline. If you know how to hunt wallets and find wallets, Ghibli, that's still there, kind of it's the category leader for that new kind of meta that formed out of all of this, which was really the main coin where we got Figure, where we got, Lego, we got all of these coins that came out of it off the back of of Ghibli.
No, yeah, dude, and I think that's where Solana really shines, and at the end of the day, through, like, the people that I've met over the last year, it's like, the reason we buy coins at the end of the day, obviously, for 1, to make money, but 2, to make friends, dude. Like, a lot of people in this space come from, like, gaming, or they come from, like, collecting, NFTs, like, that was, like, a huge, huge, huge thing for Web3, like, with communities forming and people making friends, and a lot of those NFT guys, like, they're really close, dude. Like, as much as we like to talk shit about DGods, those are like the biggest community guys ever. Like every DGod's just like really cool to talk to, except like a few probably, but the majority of them are just really always looking for like cults and stuff. But yeah, man, I feel that I don't even know what I like to refer to that feeling as, but it's just like some just like rejuvenation in the trenches that's just been happening as of recent that just reminds me of like early 2024 type shit, in the sense of like everyone's just trying to rally behind a token that's sub 5 million market cap and just wants to see it go the distance. I've been alluding to memes 2.0 in the sense of like, okay, before we were always hunting for the next Pepe, the next Dogecoin, and then that's where we got Whiff and Popcat and all that shit. And then when Whiff and Popcat kind of led the charge, we were then looking for the next Whiff, the next Popcat, and that's where we got like Michi and your selfie dog and things of that sort. And now here for memes 2.0 for Solana, we have Farcoin and RFC. Those are the two biggest memes in the space currently. And now we're looking for the next RFC. We're looking for the next Farcoin. And it doesn't have to be a beta. It could be something like aura farming. Like that just has such huge mind share on normie TikTok and normie Instagram as well. And Figure, for example, is really big in like the chat, the AI space. And same thing with even Ghibli, like you said, like those two are definitely really big. So I have that same feeling, dude. And it feels really good because we can still gamble. We can still do our meme scope, new pair stuff, but there's nothing like buying, and I speak of this from experience, there's nothing like buying 2 grand of Aura Farm at 200K market cap a few weeks back and just sitting back and literally aura farming on spaces and aura farming through my tweets. And I know that's just like a really dope community. And I just really like the ticker. And yeah, there nothing beats that, dude. Like holding culture is going to come back. And I know I talk shit a lot, or I talk down the whole like, oh, dead bags from like the Murad thesis or whatever. It's just not where the attention is at. And that's the type of trader that I am. I trade where the attention is at. And right now, the attention is shifting away from just trenching, getting farmed by Cupsy and all these other fucking guys on KOL Scan to then, now being able to see the vision because we saw the proof of concept with Farcoin and RFC. Like we want that back. We want to see the next ones come out of the trenches here. So I just feel really good about the space, dude. And I think we're headed in the right direction now.
Yeah, for sure. And like we have to kind of accept the fact that, 2024, even before when we saw Whiff and things like that, and then we started seeing Sigma and Fog and a lot of these coins that ran, I think the natural progression is iteration where it becomes more challenging with memes, right? It's like gaming, it's a leveling up, so to speak. But I think in essence of what we're still hunting is just like during NFTs in 2020, 2021, it was all around the communities. And I know it sounds fucking cliche, but the reality is that's what really drives price. We have to accept that there's going to be iteration in this space where the leveling up is going to be, and it's going to be a lot harder. But I think the essence is always going to flow back to, absolute Chad communities that are working for their bags. If you're in a coin and you think it's going to be the next runner and you're not working for your bag, then just sell. Just sell. That's my thesis. Just sell, because you can't just sit there and just expect everybody else to do it, right, for you. And then you complain because the price doesn't get to where you want it to, and you're just sitting while everybody in the group chats are making the memes or they're pushing it on the timeline, and you're just kicking back going, well, why isn't it going up higher? And you look at Sling, for example, with Titcoin. You look at Lexa Pro just recently, like with Housecoin. So find those communities, get behind them, work for your bags. Don't be a cheat.
Even if you have 0.5 or 1 soul to make buys, you could have put a soul on Housecoin at 4 mil, it went to 16. This is all in the same week. It's not like these tokens are doing things on different timestamps. Like these are all simultaneously running, gambling at the same time, but it's more so of you know what you're buying, and you know it's a safe spot to put some money.
Yeah, dude, definitely. And you brought up something that I really want to stress and talk about a little bit. You don't need to full port something in order to have conviction. Let me repeat that. You don't have to have a fat bag of something to have conviction in it. You can still bull post it and whatever. But I think the issue that people have, especially if they're only rocking a $1,000 or below port, even, you know, even 5K, like sub 5K, like you don't need to full port that to have conviction in it. You know what I mean? But again, it goes back to the whole thing of like everybody wants a quick win. Everybody wants to make 5 grand in, you know, an hour, and you're able to do that in this space. Like, don't get me wrong, the opportunity is insane here, but it is very, very risky. And that's also how you burn through your port very quickly, just hyper gambling and hyper, you know, just full porting everything that you think has potential in it. And that's where the rotations start, you know, especially with new pairs. Like if you only have $500 to play with and someone says, hey, like this is alpha, you buy it. Oh shit, you know, Elon tweeted this. Fuck, now I gotta sell it. Oh, I sold it for a loss. Oh, slippage. You know, now my $500 turned into $300. Oh, like I just bought this Elon tweet. I bought the top. Now my $300 are $100. I gotta flip this real quick. Let me go on meme scope. Oh, this just migrated. Maybe I get a quick 2x. Fuck, now I only have $20. That's literally what happens to fucking everybody.
Everything you say, FOMO, is 100% spot on. It's this revenge trading and all that. And these are things like, you know, definitely in mind games and without, you know, shilling or anything like that. But just if you're trying to learn how to navigate and mitigate risk, and if you talk to any decent trader or any person that's trading the meme scape, right, and actually trading actively, the number one thing that you're needing to do is to mitigate risk. And if you can get to a place where you can actually understand what that is and then correlate and then transfer that into your trading, that's what will make you successful. It's not just about, you know, whether you can pick the runner or not. It's your ability to mitigate your risk so that you don't zero out, because zeroing out is where you can't come back. Because what ends up happening then, you'll quit and you'll psychologically condition yourself to if it gets too hard or the fact that I'm failing, you'll end up just quitting. And then you get your dopamine and you get your satisfaction from quitting, because it's easier to quit than to persevere and push and be able to mitigate your risk to actually become successful at trading.
It comes down to like making the risk as small as possible. Like when I bought Peep at 80K, right? Let's say I bought it and I have 5 SOL in a wallet. I buy it at 90K and it goes to 20K. My 5 SOL is now 1 SOL. Even if I wanted to buy more and double down, my deployment is so bad that I have lost the money to even add or DCA. Now, if I would have put 1 SOL at 80K, then waited till it went to 20, then chucked another SOL or 2 SOL, now that's a better, less riskier position that I could ride and have my conviction, because I bought it with the same conviction at 80K, knowing it could go to a mil. So it's the same buy at 20K. It's just you get more tokens, you get a safer spot, everything is better, and then you get to have a easier mindset when it comes to holding and bull posting a bag. You don't want to bull post your bag if you buy at 90K and it's 10K. You don't even want to post about it anymore. So that's where it comes to, you just make everything as easy and as smooth as possible to where you feel comfortable bull posting, sharing the bag, whether it goes down or it goes back to your entry or not. Like, oh, if it goes back to 20K, at least it's at my entry. People look at
I'm
your
tired.
buys as a fucking sell signal too. If I chuck in 3 grand at something, they're looking like, oh, that's 3,000 they can sell on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times, like when I said I round trip, I'm thinking I'm trading against people who want to do exactly what I want to do. I think we all want to go to radium. I think we all want to make a few grand. Like, no, some people are trading on a whole different spectrum. Some dudes already made it and they're just about to take their 3 soul. Some dudes are trenching, scanning, they're just taking their 3x. Like, everybody's already on a different spectrum and a mind game of what they want to do on a certain chart. So for me to sit there and get in at 10K and not sell at 35 because I think it's just so good, it's just idiotic to me when I have to take into account all the other people I'm trading with and against. It's not just, okay, it's PvP and PvE, but at the same time, it's both of those on each chart. Every time that it is one, it's both at the same time.
Where you want to get to is to be right. You want to be able to get to a place where your thesis and your trade and your setup and your decision to take the trade, you were right. Whether you do that with real money or not, that is what you're really striving to do, and be like, yeah, I was fucking right. that this was going to run, and then so whether you want to practice that with paper trading or however, ultimately for me, I want to be bright